If you're buying the same items in every game in Deadlock, you're throwing. Items in the games are situational, and today I'm breaking down the ones I actually buy when I buy them. I'm not listing everything, just the items that consistently win me fights. Quick thing before we start, these items aren't universal. Some are better on support style heroes, some on gun builds, and some on spirit builds. So don't just copy everything, think about what your hero actually needs. If you're playing against a lineup that has a lot of healing or lifesteal, toxic bullets will help you in that situation. It has 30 healing reduction and it has a duration of 4 seconds. If you're a spirit character, go decay instead. It has 45% healing reduction and has a duration of 10 seconds. If you're playing against a lineup that has a lot of debuffs, if they have a lot of movement locked, stunned, chained, immobilized, or slept, you can get reactive barrier. It has a 40-second cooldown that automatically uses and gives you a barrier for 325. You can also get debuff reducer. It reduces all negative effects that apply to you by 25%. You can also get Divine Barrier, which is an activatable that you can use on yourself or your teammate. It removes all non-stun abilities and gives yourself a barrier and a movement speed for 6 seconds. If you're playing against a lineup that has a lot of bullet resistance, you can go Hollow Point, which has -9 bullet resist when you hit them and lasts for 8 seconds. It also grants you 4.5 healing out of combat and 125 HP, as well as 35% weapon damage. You can also go Armor Piercing Rounds, which is by far the most expensive at 6.4k. It increases your bullet velocity and it gives you a chance to pierce through enemies' armors and ignore their bullet resistance. You also have Hunter's Aura that increases your bonus health, spirit speed, and decreases enemies' bullet resistance and fire rate. You also have Bullet Resist Shredder. It has 8 bullet resist, 65 bonus health, and when you hit an enemy, it reduces their bullet resist with 10% for 8 seconds. If you're playing against a lineup that has a lot of mobility or hard to hit characters, you can get Slowing Bullets. It grants you 15 weapon damage. When you hit an enemy, it applies -30 movement speed and -25 dash distance and lasts for 3.5 seconds. You can also get Slowing Hex. It grants you 0.5 sprint speed and it has an activatable with a 30-second cooldown and it lasts 3.5 seconds. It debuffs them with -20% movement speed, -30% dash distance. You can also get Mystic Slow. It grants you 30 bonus health, 0.8 sprint speed, and a passive where if you hit them, you apply 30 movement slow and -12% dash distance, and it lasts for 2 seconds. You can also get Knockdown, which is a great item. It grants you 75 bonus health, 6% ability range. It has an activatable that has a cooldown of 35 seconds. You apply a stun, and after 2 seconds, they get stunned, and if they're airborne, they get pulled out of the sky and it stuns them further. If you're playing against a lineup that has a lot of spirit resist, you have Mystic Vulnerability. It gives you 8 spirit resist. When you damage an enemy, they have their spirit resist lowered by 8% for 7 seconds. You also have Spirit Shredder Bullets. It applies a debuff that gives them -8% spirit resist and gives you and your team 8% spirit lifesteal against them, and it lasts for 8 seconds. You also have Spirit Sap, which grants you 50 bonus XP and activatable with 32-second cooldown. If you hit an enemy with Spirit Sap, you take away 9 spirit res, 24 spirit power, and it lasts for 12 seconds. For resistance, there's a lot of different options you can go. Battle Vest is a cheap option that grants you 18 bullet resist and 3 out of combat region. And while you're above 65 health, you gain weapon damage and bonus fire rate. You can also buy Weapon Shielding, which grants you 2.5 out of combat region, and a passive with a 45-second cooldown that grants you a barrier of 300, some movement speed, and it lasts for 7 seconds. And then you have Bullet Resilience, which is just flat 30 bullet resist, and when you're below 40% HP, you gain additional 22%. You can get Spirit Resilience, which grants you 30 spirit resist, and when you're below 40% HP, you gain an additional 22%. Witchmail is also a fantastic option. It grants you 20 spirit resist, 14 spirit power, and a passive that each time you take spirit damage from an enemy, one of your ability cooldown are reduced by 4 seconds. You can also get Return Fire. It grants you 8 bullet resist and an activatable with a 25-second cooldown. You automatically fire a bullet towards any attacker who damage you with their ability. It's 60% bullet damage return, and if it's spirit damage, it's 25%. It lasts for 6 seconds. If you're playing against a lot of ability spam or poke, these items will help you. Spirit Shielding, it grants you 2.5 out of combat region, and it has a passive with a 45-second cooldown. You gain a barrier whenever you take significant spirit damage from an enemy hero in a small time frame. The barrier has 300 HP. You also gain 1.5 movement speed, and it lasts for 7 seconds. You can also get Counterspell. It grants you 100 bonus health, 8 spirit power, and it has a passive with a 20-second cooldown. If you parry an oncoming ability on item from an enemy, you will receive 150 healing, 20 spirit power, and 1.8 movement speed for 6 seconds. You can also get Spellbreaker. It increases your spirit resist by 18, your debuff resist by 25, and it has a passive with a 9 second cooldown. The next instance of high spirit damage you take is significantly reduced by 75%. You can also get Silence Wave. It increases your HP by 50, and it has activatable with a 35 second cooldown. You launch a projectile which silences enemies for a short duration and deals impact damage. It lasts for 3 seconds and it has a 40 meter range. Those are the items I rely on the most depending on the situation. If you got other picks that are working for you, drop them in the comments. I'm always curious what your people are cooking. And if you want more Deadlock guides like this, make sure you're subscribed.